modernization of I-43 from Silver Spring to Highway 60. This $500 million project has been over a decade in the making. Many of us, some of us are in the red shirt that have been working on the project since 2012. In 2018, Governor Evers committed the funding for final design and the construction of the project. In the fall of 2021, we came out here, started out with a small prep project. The construction of the main line of I-43 began in the spring of 2002. 4 years later, here we are, cutting the ribbon. I still remember when Bob Gutierrez was the project staff working on the Silver Spring interchange. Shortly after that project, those of you that drive I-43 on a regular basis, you notice that when you head northbound, there's a bottleneck right by the railroad bridge. I was going to blame Bob for that, but it wasn't his fault. So from that point on, 14 miles to the north to Highway 60, we couldn't expand it to 6 lane, from 4 to 6 lane. I still remember in 2011, Dwayne Johnson, a former region director, came up to me and said, David, is there a way to fit another extra lane in each direction and get 3 and 3, total of 6 lanes, all the way up to Highway 60? We came back, Steve Hoff and I and manager got together. We came up with a plan for Dwayne and said, well, we could go with 11-foot lanes and narrow shoulders, but we are going to compromise safety. And I'm not sure Dave Platt from FHWA is going to like that. So we stuck with the game plan. We did it the proper way. We began with the environmental study in 2012, and fortunately in 2018, Governor Evers committed the funding for us to do the construction. So after we lengthened the railroad bridge, that allowed us to expand I-43 from 4 to 6 lanes. We partnered with the city of Glendale to widen Port Washington Road from 2 to 4 lanes. We implemented the first diverging diamond interchange, which you can see over the mile, the very first in southeastern Wisconsin. That was to show our commitment to safety through innovation. It's something that's very innovative. The footprint of the interchange is a lot smaller, returning some of that real estate for additional development, which you can see as happening adjacent to the interchange. We also converted the half diamond interchange at the County Line Road for better local access. We converted that to a full diamond interchange. We partnered with the city of Mequon to add the Highland Road interchange. We knew that there were a lot of new development coming in with the university, Concordia University, and other developments in the area. We needed to have an access at Highland Road. Along with those big communities, there were many other communities that we partnered with to improve the adjacent local roads. All of this, it took while keeping I-43 2 lanes open in each direction through the last 4 years. I believe the operating speed limit during construction was near the posted speed. We believe the accident rate went down. Even during construction, I have no doubt with the wider roadway, with the wider shoulder, our facility is going to be a lot safer. This is the remarkable work by a lot of people, by many of you in the audience this afternoon. I-43 matters to the people of Wisconsin, especially the local communities. We always thought that when we build a project like this, we need to build it with the communities. We want them to feel like this is their own facility, that they're very proud to drive on safely on a daily basis. This project is more than just plan sheets, concrete, and I did not forget about the asphalt guys. For sure, this project is made up with many good Wisconsin companies. They collaborated with us to make it all possible. Companies like HNTB, Kapoor, Ramesh is here I see, Jacobs from Bloom, Span, JT Engineering, Dar Engineering, WSP, and Banish. Also construction companies like Hoffman, Michaels, Zignagel, Lunda, Zenatech, Vinton, Treewaller, and Peterson and Son. And many other companies. By the way, don't forget to take a look at that board. There's like close to 100 companies on that board. And this asphalt is very high. I'm not going to go and list them all this afternoon. But for sure, it took a lot of collaboration to make this a lasting impact for Wisconsin. Our speakers joining us today are Wisconsin Secretary Christina Boardman, Glendale Mayor Brian Kennedy, and Mequon Mayor Andy Nurban. With that, I'll turn it over to our Secretary Christina Boardman.
Thank you so much, David. I love listening to David talk about projects because you can just feel the enthusiasm as he's talking about it. But David is not unique. We are full, at the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, we are full of people that are passionate about the projects they do, making sure we do them the right way, making sure that we're improving safety. So you're going to get that same sense of enthusiasm by anyone in a red shirt here. Thanks again for letting me know that I should wear a red shirt. So I really want to thank David, and I am so proud to be with you here today to talk about the completion of the I-43 North-South Freeway project. And on behalf of Governor Evers, we really appreciate this strong collaboration, the commitment from our local communities, and all of these transportation partners who help deliver on these much-needed upgrades. This I-43 project is just one of many projects that we've completed thanks to Governor Evers' ongoing investment in our transportation system. That support remains strong with the 25-27 budget, and that was just signed into law this month. And we're empowered to continue to make these strategic investments all over the state, in our local infrastructure, on rural roads, on state highways, and really just boosting our entire multimodal transportation network. The budget increases transportation revenues, which is something that we desperately needed, and it allows us to strengthen our programs, deliver on core responsibilities, again, always improving safety, and delivering quality transportation projects throughout the state. For the past 50 years, our agency has maintained and repaired various ramps, bridges, and pavement along I-43 between Glendale and Grafton. It was definitely time to properly rebuild this section of the interstate. And so beginning over 3 years ago, we modernized and reconstructed 14 miles of interstate between two counties, spanning several communities along the lake shore. And we are grateful to all the legislators and community leaders for their support throughout this project. Transportation moves Wisconsin, and completing this section of the interstate is going to have positive impacts felt not only in these two counties, but throughout the entire state. Tens of thousands of travelers and commuters rely on this section of I-43 every day. And this interstate connects manufacturers, merchants, commuters, tourists, for all of these destinations throughout the region. It also provides people with access to multiple modes of transportation, including regional airports, transit bus services, passenger rail, ferry service, and the Port of Milwaukee. And I-43 really acts as a local cornerstone in supporting daily life, connecting people to schools, jobs, healthcare, and one another. Also, companies rely on the efficient movement of these goods and services, with about 30 million tons of freight moving on this interstate each year. This newly constructed third lane each way is going to really keep these trucks moving and keeping our state competitive for commerce. Quality transportation supports tourism, and it helps bolster our state's economy. And for example, back in April, thousands of Wisconsinites and visitors used I-43 to visit Green Bay for the NFL draft, or music fans recently coming into Milwaukee for Summerfest, or any of the numerous weekend trips that we have for people heading north. Now that these improvements are complete, tens of thousands of travelers will have safer, more reliable, and efficient access to their favorite destinations. This project shows that when we invest in Wisconsin's transportation system, we are investing in more than just steel and concrete and asphalt. We're attracting visitors, we're improving the flow of commerce, we're making it easier to get to work, and most importantly, always improving safety. Investments in transportation truly enhance the quality of life for the people of Wisconsin. But we need to acknowledge that this outstanding achievement and these improvements is only possible with the work of many, and I want to make sure that we are representing all of the federal, state, local officials, agencies, local businesses and organizations, industry partners, and the general public that are our partners in these projects. So on the I-43 project, really want to dedicate a big round of thanks to our WISTOP project staff, especially design project manager Steve Hoff, construction project manager Thomas Erdman, and RMC project development chief David Wynn. Yes. We really also appreciate the help from our consultant and industry partners that are here to design and rebuild this section of the interstate. Many of you are with us today, so thank you for your help. Because of the tremendous work of these teams, I'm pleased to share that the I-43 North-South project came in on time and under budget, and there's still, yes, and there's still some work taking place to the south, so please be alert always and be safe in the work zones. So we can all be proud of these achievements and the positive impact that we're having on the surrounding communities. Together, we really are building a 21st century transportation system that the people of Wisconsin deserve. And now I'm pleased to turn it over to our local partners. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Kennedy. I'm the mayor of the city of Glendale, and I will deliver the shortest remarks this afternoon because it's a hot afternoon and I want you all to not wilt here in the sun. I spent years as a college professor where I'd have to lecture for 3 hours at a time and keep people engaged and interested. As mayor, my remarks are always 2 to 3 minutes. So I will get started on my 3 minutes of remarks. It is an honor to be here today to celebrate the completion of this critical infrastructure project, the widening of I-43 from Glendale to Grafton. Anyone who has driven this stretch of highway knows how needed this project was. Built before I was born, I-43 connects our communities to Milwaukee, to Ozaukee County, and to destinations far beyond. It carries people to their jobs, businesses to their customers, and customers to our local businesses, and families to their homes. But for too long, its age, deterioration, and congestion put motorists at risk and held back economic development in our region. I want to share a quick story about how local cooperation helped move this project forward. Back in 2019, in his first budget, Governor Tony Evers placed funding for this project in his budget. So I began working on a letter to the State Joint Finance Committee that I wanted all of the chief executives from Glendale to Grafton to sign on to. Well, I'm a Democrat, and I know Joint Finance was Republicans, and so I needed help, particularly in Ozaukee County. So I reached out to then Mayor John Worth of Mequon. And I told him about the letter and the project that we were working on, and he said, "Oh, I support that project." And he said, "Does your letter mention the new interchange at Highland Road?" And I said, "It doesn't." He goes, "Put that in there and I'll help you get the other signatures." So I added they edited the letter to within that ask to make sure that the new Highland Road interchange was in there. And within days, we had secured signatures from 7 chief executives of communities along this stretch of highway. That letter showed that what we can accomplish when we work together across city, village, county, and even partisan lines. We spoke with one voice, and the state listened. Today is proof of that cooperation. It took local advocacy, state leadership, and federal investment to make this happen, and the benefits will be felt for decades to come. Safer commutes, reduced congestion, and strengthened economic corridor that will support growth throughout southeastern Wisconsin and indeed throughout the state. On this date, we celebrate more than just new lanes of concrete and a few new interchanges. We celebrate a commitment to building infrastructure that serves people and the willingness of leaders at every level to make that happen. Thank you to everyone who worked so hard to make today possible, and let's continue working together to build a safer, stronger, and more connected future for all of our communities. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, David, for inviting me to speak. I'll just get a little personal here real quick. I've really enjoyed the relationship we've developed over the course of this project, and I don't know who in WISDOT needs to hear it, but this guy's a rock star, so let's hear it for David. So I'm Andy Nurban, the mayor of the city of Mequon, just up the road. Projects like these take a tremendous amount of teamwork. And on behalf of all the citizens in Mequon, I'd like to extend our collective thanks and congratulations to all involved. WISDOT staff, municipal and county public works staff, other public officials, construction workers, engineers, contractors, elected officials at the state, local, and federal level, first responders and law enforcement who all help make this possible. This new freeway will serve the citizens and businesses of Mequon very well for decades to come. We sincerely appreciate everyone that helped make it happen, and on time. This is a great achievement for the Southeast Wisconsin region and the entire state, so let's give give yourself a round of applause. Thank you. So, to my colleagues at WISDOT, pardon the pun here, but what a long, long road it has been to get to this point. Does anyone recall the significance of August 7th, 2012? Raise hands, anyone who remembers that date. Seeing no raised hands. That was the date of the first public information meeting for this project, as David alluded to earlier. So 13 years ago, I was a first-term alderman with only 4 months on the job at the time. And while we see the results of 3 years of hard work in the construction phase, it's easy to forget about the decade of equally hard work that preceded it. The planning, the public meetings, environmental impact studies, letters from concerned residents and elected officials like me, the budget fights, putting the project on hold, the relaunching of the project, all of it took far more determination and effort than most will ever fully appreciate. But now that we're nearing completion, we can take some time to reflect on the journey we've just completed together. And to help with that, I'll make an analogy to something that is hopefully familiar to us all, a traditional family road trip. You see, we have all the same parts of the story of a good family road trip: planning, logistics, weather delays, shared experiences, decisions, unexpected events, personalities, and just like any family stuck in a car together for a long road trip, sometimes differing opinions. So who's in the vehicle? In the third row, way in back, you've got the young children. In this story, those are played by the general public. They know where they're going, but they're not really sure how long it's going to take, no matter how many times we've told them. And they just want it to be over as soon as possible. And the tough part is that even though they often complain and ask, are we there yet? We need to remind ourselves that this journey is for them too. In the second row, we've got the elder children, a little older and wiser than those in the back seat, and a little more in tune with what's going on, but not always fully appreciative of the journey, the complexity of the journey, and the real-world constraints that the driver is dealing with. In our story, these are played by local public and elected officials, aldermen and trustees like I was 13 years ago. They too often share their views about the choices made on the road trip. Why did we stop here for dinner? Why didn't we see XYZ attraction? These are more sophisticated types of feedback for the driver, often distracting, but sometimes also insightful and helpful. Lastly, now we get to those in the front seat. Who do we have there? Obviously, behind the wheel is Father WISDOT. After all, they planned the trip. They funded most of it. They created a budget. They thought of every contingency, planned every stop, every hotel, every wayside, every attraction. They are locked in and ready to drive after 10 years of planning the perfect family vacation. But who's riding shotgun in the passenger seat? Well, that's me over there. I'm the matriarch in this story. I'm trying to manage the kids in the back seat, dealing with their complaints and trying to make sure only the most important messages make their way to the driver so he can concentrate on operating the vehicle. Of course, while interjecting a few of my own along the way. That's right, I was the dreaded backseat driver. Now that we're nearly complete with our journey together, I think we can all truly say a few things that are familiar to those kinds of feelings we've had after a long family road trip. First, it was a long trip, but it went quickly, and it wasn't nearly as bad as we envisioned it in the beginning. Second, we might have butted heads along the way, but we got there together, came away with a better understanding of each other, and became closer because of it. And finally, we survived, We got there in one piece, and we're glad we made the trip together. WSDOT and the entire project team, thank you for a job well done on the reconstruction of I-43. Again, give yourselves a big round of applause.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the speakers, all of you that attended this afternoon. I just want to make sure I thank Dan Sellers and the PI team for setting all this up, making it all happen. I made Dan responsible for the weather. He wasn't so sure about that, but I think it turned out great. So everyone here makes a difference. Your company, yourself, all worked on this project. Thank you for coming. Now, this is why we're here, right? We're here. Dan, you have the scissor. We're going to cut the ribbon. All right, let's do it. Thank you. Project staff, red shirt,